Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Nightmare random run, where we take a random character, random weapon, on a random map, and try to beat Nightmare mode with it. Hope you're all doing well. Let's see what the game has for me today. We have the Lich. The Lich, I think, is pretty difficult on Nightmare in general, and is also pretty tough with random weapons, so let's see what we got. We got Stick. That's a very strong roll, because it gives us extra HP, and it's just a good weapon overall. It also scales its own base damage without having to buy actual damage, which the Lich buys at half rate. So, pretty strong roll here. The Lich, I do think, is a relatively difficult character on Nightmare, just because the passive is going to do less damage relative to enemy health, since enemies are stronger on this difficulty mode, of course. Good start, though. Good weapon roll and a crate drop. I'll take a helmet. We want as much armor as we can get on this character, and then I will pick up 5 harvesting early. Propeller hat I'll take for sure. Ugly tooth I'm just gonna ban. I think we're gonna not want to mess around with stuff like that. Roll here by a stick. Ban landmines, and we'll pick up another stick. Gentle alien, of course, is always great. And then we'll roll again, buy another stick, and roll again. Alright, so I would have loved to find a 5th stick there, but still happy with where we're at. One thing that is nice is when you're playing on full projectiles, these characters that want to take damage on purpose, you can walk into the projectiles every wave, or if you're not playing on full projectiles, then you can at least do that on projectile waves. Take 5 more harvesting, and then I'm going to roll for more sticks. And nice, we got our full weapon set. That's great. I would love to lock another one, because leveling this is one of the best and easiest ways for us to actually increase our damage on this character. And then we'll go straight to the next wave here. Playing Lich with sticks is really funny, because you're just like a powerful being, undead being of pure magic, and also you're just poking things with a stick. Here, I'll just take an armor. Max HP is also valuable, but armor is incredibly important, and then we'll take 8 harvesting going up to 20. And then I can buy all of these items and still reroll, which is awesome. And then, what a good chop. Bag, stick, a level 2 stick, and a tree. Couldn't ask for better than that. I'm going to need some more movement speed. And obviously, regen, lifesteal, armor. These are all critically important to this character that's trying to kill things by tanking damage. With the Lich, you usually want to try to stay at around 2/3 of your maximum HP, so that you're constantly triggering your passive as much as possible, but also not putting yourself in danger of actually just dying because you've taken too many hits. Here, we'll pick up 2 more armor, and then I'm going to go with 3 regen. Maxing our healing on this character is a damage stat, because every time we heal, we deal damage based on our health. Go ahead and buy these items, and then re-roll. Cute Monkey, one of the best items for this character, and for every character, but for this character in particular, because it gives you lots of small instances of healing. And what you want on this character is lots of 1 point of healing, because that's going to trigger your passive a ton. So buying Cute Monkey is great here. Also ban Injection. We buy damage at half rate, so it's only worth 3.5 damage, and losing HP hurts our passive, so this is just not an interesting item to us. Now, I am worried about this character on Crash Zone, which of course is the map that we've randomed here, because melee characters tend to suffer on Crash Zone against the summoners, especially on wave 14, and randomly killing enemies against the summoners is also pretty dangerous, because you'll pop them when they're across the map. with your Lich passive, and then not be able to clear the summons before a lot of projectiles start showing up. So definitely some risk there. I could take 4% damage here. It is still useful to buy percent damage on this character. Boosts your passive damage, and it's kind of like buying a level 1 damage upgrade, slightly worse, but I think it's still worth picking up. I'll buy the Scar, I will ignore the Bone Dice, and we'll roll again. Campfire is a little brutal, but we do still have to buy it because it's so expensive, but we do still have to buy it because you have to buy every point of regeneration you see on this character. And then I'll pick up Weird Food as well. Terrified Onion, I don't love it, but with -5 move speed, I actually think I just have to buy it. Oh, I didn't realize there were 3 eggs, but we do, I think, have a Gentle Alien. So normally there's 2 eggs on wave 6, but if you have increased enemy spawns, there can be 3. At the start of the wave. More will spawn during the wave, of course. Now, some attack speed would be really nice. I wouldn't mind Baby Gecko to help pick up these materials. It's also very good with our Cute Monkey. Take the cake here, and then I will re-roll, and we'll take 6 more max HP. Or do I just want 8 harvesting? The max HP, of course, is very good. This is early enough that maybe I can get away with the harvesting. I think I'll just take the health, though. I think we're in good enough shape. I just want to focus on my defensive stats right now. I will take the level 3 lifesteal. Sticks are, of course, not the best weapon to use lifesteal with, but it's still an important component of our healing setup. I'll buy Weird Ghost. We have enough healing. We have 15 regen. I shouldn't die at the beginning of the wave. And Weird Ghost is pretty good for this character because it just means you're triggering your passive a ton right at the start. I'm also going to buy Jelly. 30 materials for 1 health is pretty bad, but increasing our health by any means possible is very important to the Lich. And I'll take Little Frog as well. It'll help with my consumable healing and gives me some harvesting. And then I'll roll, buy a Weird Food. For 6 damage, do I buy Cyclops Worm? I guess I do. And if I'm buying these 3 items, I'll lock the Plastic Explosive. We can ban it for a reroll. Of course, jump scared myself because I immediately forgot I had bought the Weird Ghost. One thing that you'll sometimes see suggested on the Lich is to deliberately lower your consumable healing. I think I mentioned that as an option in my guide 2 years ago or something. I don't think that that's a good idea. Consumable healing is just so powerful. You still just want to increase it. You can deliberately lower it so that you get more instances of healing and trigger your passive more frequently, because you want lots of small amounts of healing. But just making sure that you survive is the most important thing by far. Corrupted Shard, I'm going to ban. This is Crash Zone, so I don't really want to build any curse. And then here, I'm going to reroll, looking for armor. This is our guaranteed level 3 level up from hitting 10th level. And so armor is almost always the pick. Then we'll take 10 luck here, and I will buy these 3 items and ban the Plastic Explosive. Roll. Adrenaline's kind of interesting. It is a healing item. We have -9 dodge, though, so I just can't really use it. But I'll buy the Butterfly, and I'll re-roll. Finally got another stick, which is great. Wheelbarrow I'll pass on. I don't want to reduce my armor at all at this point. Wheelbarrow is an item that its stock has gone down tremendously for me in Nightmare mode. It's a very efficient economy item, but this mode is so much about just surviving the next wave that buying Wheelbarrow, I think, is often pretty dangerous. You'll still, of course, pick it up if you get it early, but on more difficult characters where you're just trying to make sure you make it through the next wave intact, I think that Wheelbarrow is a lot harder to buy than it used to be. Because armor is just so good in this game. Once again, the item we're most interested in finding is another cute monkey. Obviously outside of, you know, fairy, potato, like, powerful, high-level items, but the sort of realistic, low-level item that we're most likely that we want the most is cute monkey. I'm gonna roll here. I'll take 15 attack speed. I currently have none. I'll go ahead and buy the stick, buy the butterfly, buy the penguin. Charcoal, I'm just going to ban. Buying 1 melee damage on a weapon with high base damage just doesn't make that much sense to me. And I will pick up a fertilizer. We do lose half a melee damage. I hate having to buy all these terrified onions, but I can't play with negative move speed like this for too much longer. Or at least shouldn't. We'll buy the cake. Jelly for 36. I don't think I'm going to pick up. I'm just going to roll here. And padding and broken mouth, both great finds. Decomposing flesh is worth a lot of lifesteal, which is pretty important. We do lose health, which is bad on this character that wants to gain extra health. Now, we've already hit 66 health, which is a lot. So I think I will take the decomposing flesh. It's so much lifesteal, and it's a really good healing item. Jerky, of course, is the other item that we're most looking for, because not only is it a broken item that wins run basically by itself, it also turns all of our high instances of healing from consumables into multiple instances of healing, which will trigger our passive over and over. This wave I'm tanky enough because there's enough enemies on the field we're constantly life-stealing, and we've managed to put together some armor that we can more or less just run at the enemies and try to make as much money as possible that way. Gotta break this tree. I would love a loot worm. That's another item I would keep a strong eye out for. Yeah, we'll buy the whetstone, we'll buy a broken mouth, I'll take 4 regen, and do I want 3 melee damage? What's my weapon damage currently? So this is an okay damage increase. I guess I'll take it. And then here I'm going to buy these things, do a reroll, buy a duct tape. Yes, it lowers my max HP, but armor is super important. We'll take a baby gecko as well. Roll again. Medical turret is another healing instance that you can use, but it fires very slowly. I think I'm just going to roll past all this stuff. I will... I have 4 consumable healing, so I think I can get away with the alien worm here. Cyclops worm for 6% damage is worth it. When your percent damage is really low, boosts to it are more impactful. Then I'll roll. Found another stick. Crit chance is normally a pretty good option for the Lich, but it's a lot worse on sticks, which only get 1.5x crit damage. Crit chance and attack speed, of course, are not affected by the damage modifier reduction that this character has, so they are often your best way to raise your damage output. I think I will take the Insanity. We only lose 1.5 damage. Yes, the stick has lowered critical multiplier, but crit damage is still pretty powerful. And the base damage on this weapon is high enough. Even 1.5x damage is pretty good. Trying to keep my health a little bit lower in this wave. On purpose. In previous waves, this kind of happened on its own. Wave 10, it's a little harder. We don't have total control over what we kill, so there's a chance our passive kills that curse alien and we end up with curse that we weren't really looking for. Hoping that that doesn't happen, but there's nothing I can do to stop it if it does. Yeah, it did. So we'll have a few cursed items, or a few cursed enemies start to appear. Which can be dangerous. They'll absorb a lot of damage from our passive, obviously, because of their increased health. Here, I'm going to roll for armor again. I could take 9 max HP, but armor remains the most important thing at these guaranteed level 3 level ups. And then I don't need the harvesting. I'm just going to reroll this, and I'll take 10 attack speed. 6 max HP, also very tempting, but attack speed's pretty important. Buy these items. The snail I don't really care about. I will buy all of these things. So let's do it this way, and then we'll buy the bat. And I do have 9% chance of critting. My passive can't crit, the Lich passive, so the hunting trophy doesn't work on that. I've been pretty disappointed with hunting trophy the last several times I've bought it. But I think I'm going to give it one more try. I am experimenting. I think, so to be clear, I think that the hunting trophy probably is gonna lower your expected win rate if you buy it in the spot, most likely. But I still want to experiment with it and see where it's okay to push buying hunting trophy. Obviously, that item, when it works, is very powerful, but I think on Nightmare mode, because it's a slow economy item, it requires you to buy crit, which is the weakest damage stat in general. It's often just not going to work out in your favor to pick it up when you don't already have a ton of crit chance on, like, non-precise build. But this is me experimenting and doing science. Stone Skin, I will take. Lowering my attack speed, obviously a real penalty, but the HP, great. We'll take another Garden. I'll recycle the Tyler, and do I just want 6% damage? I guess so. Here we'll buy all of these items, and I'll roll. Baby Squid, incredible find, of course, even this late, it's still very powerful. We'll roll again. Which of these do I want against the Elite? I'm going to buy Blood Leech, Penguin, and Duct Tape. So I guess I'll buy the 2 items and lock the Blood Leech. And Goat Skull I'm not going to buy because we only get 1.5 melee damage. Lowering our crit chance is bad for our hunting trophy, and so on. I keep having to reduce my luck, but I do think we still need to buy the Terrified Onion when we have -1 move speed. So Elites are typically pretty hard for the Lich because your damage is spread out across all of the enemies on the field, so it's harder to focus damage on one specific high health enemy. The other reason that hunting trophy is worse, of course, is that our Lich passive is not going to trigger it, but most of our kills are coming from our actual weapons. Or are in other waves. This wave, because we're focusing our DPS on the Elite, is a little different. I don't think we're quite going to have the damage to kill the Elite, unfortunately. If this was any other Elite, we'd have killed it pretty easily. But because this one charges past you all the time, it's just been really hard to focus damage on it. So I'm just going to focus on making sure we survive and make it out of the wave. If I had hard committed to fighting it, I probably could have killed it looks like. But then I'd have given up a lot of other materials. And been less safe. So better just to play that wave safe because we got an Elite that's tough to kill. We'll recycle that, take some more max health. I'll buy these items. I'm just going to ban Recycling Machine. I've been so unimpressed with this item in Nightmare mode. And we already got Hunting Trophy for our sort of boondoggle. I'm going to roll here. All right, Fairy, obviously incredible. Another cute monkey, of course, incredible. We'll buy the Fairy first, and then we'll lock all of these items. Great shop there. Not finding more weapon levels also makes the hunting trophy worse, because the more damage we're doing with our passive and the less we're doing with our weapons, respectively, the worse the hunting trophy is. I will say, as I've said in the last couple random weapon runs, we're on quite a run of rolling good weapons. And at some point, the worm will turn, and we will we'll roll some really bad weapons. I mean, there are some characters that just don't have good weapons for Nightmare mode because they're just really difficult. And there are some characters with combos that I think are mostly impossible. But for now, we've gotten pretty lucky on our rolls. Buy these items. I'll re-roll here. I'll buy Claw Tree. It gives us a regen. Half a melee damage. Not great, but not completely irrelevant. And the crit chance, of course, is good here. Definitely don't want the tardigrade. I will buy Pencil. It gives me 1 regen because of the fairy. I'll definitely buy Silver Bullet. And I don't have a way to apply elemental damage. Don't think we care about the Pocket Factory here, so I'm just going to reroll. We'll buy Penguin. I'll lose 3% damage to buy 10% attack speed with the small magazine. My attack speed is terrible currently, and we, buy damage at half rate, so losing a little bit is less impactful. Alright, I need to focus on clearing the summons as they spawn, and I also want to focus on keeping my passive active. A classic oxymoron for you. Taking a little bit too much damage here, just focusing on staying at about half health and playing around consumable healing to stay alive. I did get another point of curse, went off to kill the tree. Focus on killing this elite in the last few seconds if possible, and then I can get a full heal off of it, and we did get it, and that also makes the rest of the wave pretty easy. Committing to killing that elite was maybe a little dangerous, but once I had gotten it so low, I really wanted to go after it. We'll recycle the pencil here. Ashes, I can't really afford to lose this much armor. That would be 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 5 armor that we'd lose. We get 10% damage, 20 attack speed. The range is irrelevant to this character, so I think I'm just going to recycle the ashes here. I'm going to roll and pick up 3 more armor. I'll buy these items. Can't afford the small magazine. Oh, and I almost just completely glossed over the stick. I wonder how many sticks I've passed. I have felt like I've maybe been missing them, so I'm sure if I have been, I will be hearing about it in the comments. For some reason, my brain just didn't process that one, and if that happens once, it's probably happened before. So this wave, without the elite to absorb my weapon damage and ticks from my passive, we should have an easier time clearing all of these summons. Also, there's fewer summons wave 15 than 14. I do still need to focus on killing these enhanced eggs, because the enhanced slashers have tons of health and will absorb a lot of damage from my passive. And again, I'm using the environmental projectiles to keep my health where I want it. In complicated scenarios on the Lich, you can often just watch your HP bar in the top left instead of looking at where you are on the screen. Because you're basically playing like an MMO-style health management minigame more than you're playing a horde survival game here. I'll take some more attack speed. I will buy these items. The fruit basket, I don't really care about. I'm just going to roll. Here's another stick. I will take the boxing glove for regen and half a melee damage. And I'll take a candy bag just for fun. If I do get 2 elites, that's obviously pretty dangerous, but I just love candy bags so much. And although we get damage at half rate, almost every other stat is good for this character. Because we still need move speed. We care more about health than most characters would at this point. Armor, obviously, is always good. Regen and lifesteal are always good. Melee and percent damage are fine. Off damage types and dodge are pretty useless, but the candy bag should give me at least some decent stats here. That said, I would be lying if I said that buying the candy bag wasn't mostly just because I like buying candy bag and getting an extra elite is fun. Alright, I have no idea where the loot alien is. Oh, it's right under me. Did I get it? I'm not sure. I'll take the improved tools here, and then I'm gonna fix my move speed. I'll buy a candy bag and a stick upgrade. I'll roll. Even this late, I think the scar is fine. Dock Moth is interesting, so it doubles your regen effectiveness, and lifesteal, so you heal for 2 instead of 1, so it means fewer passive triggers, but this character does just have a lot of lifesteal and regen, so it's good in that sense. But I think I'm just going to roll past it. I just don't like that item, I just don't think it's very good. I'll buy a duct tape here, and then I'm going to lock Cyclops Worm, bag this late. I don't think we need. I've bought a bunch of silly items. Alright, well, the candy bag immediately paying off. Double armor there at the beginning of the wave. Maybe even more good stats, but I only had eyes for the armor. But getting 2 armor off of that was obviously incredible. So this elite, of course, somewhat challenging for melee characters again. I will say we've gotten a lot of elites that are specifically hard to fight for this run. The gardens, alongside our high consumable healing, are doing pretty good work. I'm gonna back off here, get this tree kill, heal back up to half, then we can finish off the elite. And again, this is all just health management. Medkit, of course, incredible. It boosts my regeneration massively. The lighthouse, I'm going to recycle. I'll take 15 luck, and then we'll buy the Cyclops Worm. I'll buy the head injury, because now it gives me a regen. Catling Gun does work with lifesteal, so I think I will pick it up. I'm not going to buy another small magazine. I will buy another stick. I'll roll. Buy a lure, and buy a cake. 2 more armor. Alright, I wasn't expecting this candy bag to be particularly good, but if I had known that it was going to roll 4 armor in the first 2 waves, obviously, then I would have told you it was incredible. Trying to kill at least a few of the enhanced buffing aliens and at least a few of the eggs. We're not going to be able to get all of them. This wave is just too chaotic, wave 18. But as long as I can keep the population down a little bit, then we shouldn't be facing too many of the most dangerous enemies at once. Because what really gets you here is if like a bunch of these little goobers spawn and get buffed. And you can see that we've got a couple of those. Or if 3 or 4 enhanced slashers spawn at once. So just making sure that you're kind of managing which enemies are on the field is pretty important. One thing I just really like about Nightmare mode, I guess I'll take the fish hook, we might get 1 cursed item out of it, and it's only 30. One thing I really like about Nightmare mode in general is just that you actually have to think about what enemies are out on the field. I'll take the Scared Sausage just for regeneration, and then we'll roll. Okay, we got a cursed stick, I mean, I'll happily take that. We'll buy an alien tongue and then reroll. And at this point in the game, I'm not going to buy another weird ghost. And I'll roll again. Hopefully we curse one of those 2 items, but if not, no big deal. Another armor. I want to shout out the commenter who's been tracking the candy bag stat in the comments. It's really cool seeing what it actually gave. So appreciate you taking the time. I know everybody likes seeing those numbers. So thank you for that. I do still think that the actual game should track it and display what stats you got in the item tooltip. Oop. Come back, loot alien. I don't think I got it. I'm not sure again. I'll recycle this, and here I'm going to roll for 4 armor again. I will buy this. Okay, we did get a cursed item off the fishhook. It's not the most amazing one, but it's fine. I will upgrade this stick. I wish I could upgrade the cursed one, but we would need a level 1 to do that. Obviously, we're buying Silver Bullet. We'll buy Gentle Alien. More enemies is just more lifesteal, more consumable healing. Easier health management as well. And then I will roll, and I'll buy the coffee. I think it matters more than the tree, and it also gives me a regeneration. Another Silver Bullet. I wish I could buy that, but let's go to the last wave. And yet another armor off the candy bag as well. So we're at what, like +7 armor from candy bag? Damage output, pretty solid here. It will lower a little bit as more enemies spawn, because one reason our damage was so high was every passive trigger was going on the elite, since we were killing, you know, at the beginning of the elite wave, there's fewer enemies. But the actual DPS doesn't matter so much as our health management, which we made very easy. So there we go. That's the Lich. I was expecting that one to be relatively clean because we rolled such a powerful weapon, and stick is always going to be a good run. Looking at our items here, we had 300 materials from bag, 500 healing from Cute Monkey, so just blowing everything else out of the water. And we also had 75 regen and 40 lifesteal, thanks to our stat over time items. Triple Penguin was great. 11 lifesteal from Decomposing Flesh, but minus 11 health, but still great there. We had 75 materials from Hunting Trophy, so it was really garbage. Science Experiment, but one which we can conclude pretty conclusively, did not work out. 8 regen from the Baby Squid, 32 stats from Candy Bag, but like a quarter of it was armor, so obviously the Candy Bag did amazingly. Double Silver Bullet made the boss fight very easy. Fairy, of course, incredible. And even our fishhook got us 1 cursed item, which, not bad. Alright, my friends, I hope that you've enjoyed this run, and of course, if you have, then feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I'll catch you next time.